Hey you guys, thank you for being here. Welcome to this lesson. So this is estaba versus estuvo lesson. Sometimes can mess around with our minds a little bit, right? But it is not that difficult. The first thing I want you guys to know is that in Spanish we have two versions of past, which it would be in English would be, for example, just called in past. In Spanish we have like used to call, which it would be llamaba, or called, more kind of called. I did it, llamé. So be careful because in Spanish all the verbs has aba and e version, and it is gonna change depending on if it is an AR verb, a ER verb, a EIR verb, or an irregular verb. So be careful. We in Spanish have two versions of the past, which in English we know as ed, called, or worked, or ate, or just verbs in past. In Spanish we have two versions, which I call the more general past, and that which I call the more done past. I know more done it doesn't have any sense. Maybe. Well, in Spanish it has, because we have two versions of one past. So, with that said, be careful because we are gonna dive into the estaba and estuvo. Those are the two forms of the past of one verb. You know what verb that is? Would be estar, to be. And that's it, all right? So that's the first thing you need to know. So, to sum it all up, let's say, in Spanish, all verbs has two versions of the past. Aba or e. The I used to do it, or just in past I did it. Just in past, I don't know why I just did it. Or I did it. Like more in past, more done. Like when I was a child, I sung that song. Cuando yo era un niño, yo canté esa canción una vez. O yo canté esa canción en mi graduación. Versus yo cantaba esa canción con mi mamá. I used to sing that song with my mother. That's it. I used to in the past. So, we are dealing here with the verb to be. To be verb in Spanish, it has two versions. The first, ser and estar. You should know this already. Ser is more like a full state of who I am. And estar is just a temporary situation or kind of mood. Or also to be in a place. So, for example, for ser, soy David, soy profesor, soy alto. Be careful because I could also say estoy alto if I'm talking just in this moment, I am tall. Okay, estoy alto in this moment. But if I'm a tall person, I'm gonna say soy alto. So the difference between estar and ser is pretty much easy. And in order to understand estuvo and estaba version, you must know first ser and estar. So we have ser and estar, but guess what? Ser and estar, each one of those has its own past version. Each one of ser and estar, it divides on two. Ser would be fue and era. Kind of, I once was, or I just was. But we are not dealing with ser today. We are dealing with estar, which it would be estuvo, or estuve, or estuvieron, depending on the person, right? And estaba, or estaban, estábamos, depending on the person. So that's the thing. We are dealing with the two forms of the past of the verb to be, meaning estar. That's the first thing. Let me just give you tons of examples. You will understand. For example, if I say, estuvo difícil el examen. The exam was really difficult. Talking about really specific, just the exam was specific. But if I say, estaba difícil el examen, we could interchange both. Be careful because estaba and estuvo, there are a lot of situations that could work the same. So David, how am I gonna know, right? It is easy. If you want to just be specific about, okay, the exam, it is already done. I do not want to think more about the exam. I'm gonna say estuvo difícil. It was difficult, that exam. That's it. I'm thinking about another thing. Just it was difficult exam. Estuvo difícil el examen, pero ya está en el pasado. It is already in the past. I don't care. But if I say estaba difícil el examen, it's more like it was a difficult exam, but I wanted to continue like thinking about the exam. It's not like it was a difficult exam and that's it. I'm moving on with my life. No, it is like it was difficult exam, right? Yeah, it was difficult, and I could continue talking about the exam, about that past, because it is not that done of a past. You see, that's why I say estuvo is more done and estaba is just past. So, more examples. So the first example, estuvo muy difícil el examen. The exam was really difficult, but it's done. I'm not thinking about it anymore, right? But if I say estaba difícil el examen, I'm thinking it was a pretty difficult exam. Yeah, it was, and it was also long, and also it was. So I'm continuing thinking. So estaba difícil el examen, estuvo difícil el examen. Interchange. There are some cases where you cannot interchange. For example, if you say estuvo buena la fiesta, it was a good party. It's already done. It was a good party. Yeah, you could say estaba buena la fiesta until something else happened. If you say in that occasion, because it is an event, estaba buena la fiesta. It was a good party until the police came. Estaba buena la fiesta hasta que llegó la policía. Otherwise, would be just estuvo buena la fiesta. That's it. Just remember, estuvo is more done. You are gonna imagine, when you say estuvo buena la fiesta, you're gonna imagine the party was good just in that moment of the past, and that's it. I'm moving on with my life. That's it, just the past. But if I say estaba buena la fiesta, I'm remembering the party going on in the past. It's like I transport myself to the past and leave the past again as if it were a present. So estuvo, you are just gonna look at this. This is the key point here. Whenever you say estuvo, you are gonna imagine that past already happened, and that's it. You're moving on with your life. Estuvo buena la comida. Estuvo bueno el almuerzo. Estuvo genial la fiesta. But that's it. I'm moving on. But if I say, estaba buena la comida, I'm still thinking about the food. I'm still thinking about the food, right? Like, oh, it was a good food. Yeah, it was good. But I'm still thinking. So estuvo, I just imagine the past already happened and I'm moving on with my life. Estaba, I am transporting myself to the past and I'm leaving the past again. That's estaba. And that's it, you guys. And that situation happened with all the verbs in Spanish, because in Spanish, all the verbs has estuvo version and estaba, but with their own conjugation. For example, llamaba, llamé. Llamaba, I'm gonna transport myself and imagine myself doing the action in the past. But if I say llamé, I'm gonna imagine myself already done that action, already it's in the past, and that's it. Llamaba a mi mamá mucho antes. Llamé a mi mamá el mes pasado. Hablaba, hablé. Cantaba, canté. Robaba, robé. Miraba, miré. So This is the same case that happens with all verbs in Spanish. We have this version, which is more done. You're gonna, in this version, always, you're gonna imagine that the verb, it was done in the past, and you're moving on with next thing. Llamé a mi mamá el mes pasado. Okay, you called your mother last month, and that was it. But if I say, llamaba mucho a mi mamá antes, more like, oh, you used to call your mother before a lot. So I'm gonna imagine myself doing the action. So remember, estaba, you're gonna imagine the person, you're gonna transport yourself to the past, and you're gonna imagine that person doing the past, in the past, obviously. Doing the action in the past, obviously. When we say estuvo, you're gonna just imagine the person just already did the action and moving on with your life. Estuvo versus estaba. Couple of examples more and we are ready. For example, estaba dañado el carro. The car was broken. But if I say, estuvo dañado el carro durante 2 meses. El carro estuvo dañado durante 2 meses. Throughout whole 2 months period, the car was broken. You see, it's just more done or specific, and this is just past. All right. For example, hoy monté mucho bici. Ayer montaba, no. Ayer monté mucho bici. Cuando pequeño montaba mucho bici. ¿Sí? Ayer llamé a mi mamá. Cuando era pequeño, llamaba mucho a mis tíos. You see? More just not that specific kind of a past. So estaba, estuvo, and it happens the same with all verbs. We have a more done kind of version and just a past kind of version. Estaba, estuvo, comía, comí, hablaba, hablé, robaba, robé. And obviously you are gonna conjugate it depending on the person, right? For example, el año pasado estuvimos en Medellín. El año pasado estuvimos. Last year we were on Medellín, and that's it. We are not there anymore. You could say, el año pasado estábamos en Medellín. So remember, whenever you don't know which one of those to use, you are gonna think, okay, what am I trying to say? Am I trying to say that the last year we were on Medellín and that was it? That would be estuvimos en Medellín. But if I want the other person to transport themselves with myself to that past, I'm gonna say, el año pasado estábamos en Medellín. Oh, okay, so the other person is gonna imagine, oh, they were in Medellín. It's gonna imagine you being in Medellín, obviously in the past. If you say estuvimos, estuvo version, the other person is gonna imagine yourself just, he was in Medellín period of time, but he's not anymore. That's the difference. I hope you guys understand. All right. If not, please let me know. Ask me some questions, and I will respond to all of your comments. All right. Estaba versus estuvo. The classic phrase that we use. How was it? ¿Cómo estuvo? ¿Cómo estuvo tu concierto? Whenever we ask, how was your party, how was your concert, how was your day, ¿cómo estuvo? ¿Cómo estuvo? No estaba. Because remember, it's something specific. How was your day? ¿Cómo estuvo tu cita? How was your class? ¿Cómo estuvo tu clase? How was your day? ¿Cómo estuvo tu día? It's really specific. Your day. That's why. How was your day? Specific. Your day. Tu día. ¿Cómo estuvo tu día? Basically, it's just that. All right, you guys, I hope you like this lesson. Please give me a thumbs up and a comment and subscribe, please, all of that. That would help me a lot. All right, if you wanna take lessons, private lessons with me, I can do online sessions, and I'm actually scheduling some lessons for this coming month. So just let me know, you guys. Take care. Bye-bye. Ciao.
Remember when I couldn't hold her? Left her baggage for a mover.
peaches out in Georgia. Oh yeah, shit. I get my weed from California. That's that shit. I took my chick up to the north, yeah.